I'm going to go over the three review functions in this video: review, review count, and reviews filter. So first one, let's start with review. But before I do, make sure that you've got your add-on installed. If you happen to do this on a brand new spreadsheet, make sure you've activated it with your subscription ID. And if it doesn't save for whatever reason, do it in incognito mode. You just have to bypass Google's cache. The second one to note is that you've entered or you've added your seller nickname into your Gorilla ROI account, not your Amazon store, but this is just a nickname to make the formula so much easier to create. In my case, it's called Test Seller 2, and in column A, I've already got my list of ASINs loaded using Gorilla underscore ASIN list. To pull in the review, type in Gorilla underscore review. And what this will do is it's going to show you the total, no, not the total, but the details of the review. So you can actually pull in your written reviews on Amazon. It's going to show you the link. It's going to show you the title, the person or the nickname that they used to write it, etc. So review, select this. The first option is going to ask you to enter your seller ID. So here it's in A1, comma, and for the SKU, rather than, so with review, make sure you read this carefully. It's only going to accept one SKU or ASIN at a time. And the reason is, by default, we're going to be loading, say, I believe it's 5. So we're going to be loading the latest 5 reviews, and if you try to select a range from like say A2 to A16 and each of them has 5 reviews, it's all going to start overlapping each other and it's just going to create a mess in Google Sheets. So rather than trying to create a range, this is one of the very few functions where you only can enter and select a single SKU. Okay, so to summarize again on this formula so far, I've selected test seller 2 and I've selected one SKU that is located in A2 or ASIN. We use it interchangeably in the formula. So press OK, press enter, it's going to load, and now it's going to load the last 5 reviews, and you can see where it will now pull it in, it will give you what the rating was, it will show you when it was actually published, the title. Now, this is a demo account, so this is just reviews that we've just manually created, but it'll give you the title. Okay, let me just expand on that a little bit. It'll tell you who the seller ID is or who the seller was, or the Amazon buyer. It will give you the link to the review that you can click and then it will open up, as well as the actual full written review. So this way, rather than having to constantly go into the listings, you can pull up the latest reviews for whatever products that you have. You can change the count from the default 5 to, let's say, I pressed comma to move on to the next field, the next attribute, marketplace. I want to skip marketplace, just go to count, and let's say I want to do 10. I don't know if there's 10, but change the number to 10, and then there you go. It will load the last 10 reviews for this particular ASIN. If you choose to keep the formula as simple as possible, where you only need to enter the actual test or the seller account name or the nickname, in my case, test seller 2, all I have to do is Gorilla underscore review, and it's going to load the last 5 reviews for across all of the different the SKUs that I have. So you can see that it's loading now all of the reviews, all the different ASINs, and it's going to pull in by default the latest 5 if it exists. And so that's going to be the easiest way. So now that you understand how to use review, let's move on to review count. As the name suggests, it's to count the number of reviews you've received for a particular ASIN or a SKU. Equals Gorilla underscore review count. Okay, as it auto completes, I'm going to select the second one, review count. It highlights seller ID. That's where my seller ID is located. Comma to move on to the next one. And in review count, SKU is a required input. You can't just skip it like I did with review, where in review you only need the seller nickname, but in this case you have to enter either 1 or 2 or your full list of SKUs. I'm going to select A2 and drag down all the way to A16. It just makes everything so much quicker. And then if I close this formula out, it now pulls in and will load the number of reviews a product has received. Note that this is not a ratings. We have ratings count and ratings, which is separate. So check that video out. But this is for review. Review means a written review. Okay, it's not somebody going into the account and just clicking a 5-star. This is the actual how many written reviews are there. Okay, at the end, you can also filter by marketplace. So if you only want to pull it up for a specific marketplace, then you can do something like Canada, or you can do Mexico, or you can do France, etc. And that will load the number of reviews for that particular marketplace. Okay, so let's move on to reviews filter equals Gorilla underscore reviews filter. Now, as I'm making all of this video, I'm also going through the same process where I look at this green highlight. It tells me what I need to be entering here. And if there's a particular section that I don't know, then I'm just scrolling down the info box, reading the descriptions, finding what attributes I want to use, and then applying that into the formula. Okay, so this one is telling me seller ID. I'm going to select A1, comma, and then for the period, it's telling me that the period is required. Note that there is no optional word, so that means it's required. So I'm going to select last 14 days. Oops, last 14 days. And everything else is optional after that. So I'm just going to close this formula out and see what happens. Okay, and so it's shown me that over the last 14 days, for the test seller 2 account, I've only received 1 review over the last 14 days, right? So if I expand this out to say 30 days, 3, so it's actually filtering out and giving you a count over a specific time period. So let's dig into this a little bit more. So I've got the last 30 days. Let's put in a comma, semicolon if you're in Europe or if you're in a Spanish-speaking country. Okay, marketplace, I'm just going to leave, actually, let me type in US, comma, and for the SKU, now let's say I want to define the actual SKU. I'm going to scroll down and saying that, okay, can be a range of values. That's great. I'm going to select A2 down to A16, comma, and let's say I want to only pull in the 5-star reviews. Let's close this formula out, see what happens. And now it's going to show me that over the last 30 days, looking up for only the 5-star reviews, this one received 1, and this one received 1, and the others didn't receive any 5 stars over the last 30 days. Let's change this up a little bit. Let's say over the last 3 months, okay, and let's say I want to get the 1-star reviews over the last 3 months. And now you can see that, okay, this is now this received 1, this received 2, and the rest didn't receive any, so that's great. So you can see how you can go in and edit this formula or this table where, let's say I label this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if I want to pull in, let's say I'm going to do some reference locking. I'm going to lock in position A1. I'm going to lock in the range of the SKUs so that as I drag the formula, it doesn't shift places. And instead of 1, I'm now going to use a header up the top here. So the formula is now going to look up Tesla to all of this in the SKU or the ASIN for 1 stars. And now if I drag this to the right, it's going to go look up all of the reviews that I've received that were 2, 3, 4, and 5 stars over the last 3 months. So by doing it like this, you can use in lots of different use cases where maybe you're trying to monitor a sales, or maybe you're trying to monitor a liquidation, and you want to see how many, or a product launch, and you want to see how many reviews or of a particular review 5-star, 4-star, or 1-star you're getting over this specific period. And by doing this, you can monitor your progress and really nail down exactly what is working and what isn't working, which one is your best product and which one is your worst product. So using these three functions, review, reviews count, and reviews filter, you can do a lot of things with just account management, product launches, and so on.